Alright, so for this question, it's pretty similar to example 12, but there's just a little bit of a twist to it. Now, notice that our domain's the same. However, it's not cos x anymore. It's not sin x anymore. It's got a bit of a different coefficient in there to change basically the period of these two functions. Now, when it does have different values like that, and it's 0 to 2 pi, I'm going to edit it a little bit the way we do it so we can fit in all of the data that we need. Okay, so just a reminder that if it's cos 2x, our b factor is 2, meaning our period ends up being pi over 2 when it's normally pi. And then, your scale factor is a half, meaning, you've got your cos function. So that's our normal 0 to 2 pi. That's not a very good representation. Something like that. It ends up being halved. So basically it dilates a half and two of them fit in. Didn't really do a good, something like that. Okay, so that's what's basically happening, meaning there's going to be more answers. So normally we found two answers into 0.25. 0 to 2 pi, but now we're going to find 4 solutions. So that's what we can kind of expect. Okay, so if I start with the normal cos 2x equals 1 over square root 2, and then find the inverse cos of 2x and find that answer first, it'll give me a little bit of kind of like we have been doing. So nothing has changed yet. And I'll show you what we can change. So that answer is pi over 4. Okay, so just notice that therefore my 2x is going to be pi over 4. Now, what I want you to do when you get the answer using your calculator or your unit circle, if you used unit circle to do that, that's fine. What I want you to do now is start to practice writing this thing called 2 pi k. Now, what that means is so if I draw I'm going to draw it over here. Every 2 pi, which is your 360 degrees, so that answer, all silly turtles crawl, so cos was a positive, so that would have been that answer, or that answer, it's small, it's between 0 to pi over 2, so that would have been that answer. And hopefully you understand that. What that means is if I write the plus 2 pi k, this just means every time, from here, if I do another 360 degrees, which is 2 pi, it'll be at the same answer. If I do another one, it'll be the same answer, pi over 4. That just means the periodicity. So it's explaining that if I do one circle, 360 degrees, that means you replace the k with 1, because the k can be any integer. If I do 2 circles, it just means the k becomes 2, so it becomes add 4 pi, etc. So that's just what it means, and I'll briefly explain that now, and then if there's any other questions, I'll keep going on with it. So whenever you do these questions, now keep adding it to plus 2 pi k. If you're never sure which one to add it to and which one's not, you can always add it, because if I just do pi over 4 plus 2 pi on my calculator, let's just say, it was an original question and I do pi over 4 plus 2 pi to see if that works. That is another option. Well, that kind of goes over my range. So for this question, it works, but not for any question. So if you just give it a go and it's out of the range, you just don't write it, and that's really it. So we'll write that. That's one of my options, but notice that, again, we didn't do that answer. So easiest way to do it, that's the same angle, so you just go second option. I'm just trying to find a better way of writing this. I'm going to do my second option over here. I'll write second option for you. So remember that there's always two options. Is 2 pi take pi over 4, so that'll be 7 pi over 4. So those are my options. Again, I want to write my plus 2 pi k. And I'll show you what happens now. So if I write my final answer, therefore 2x, right, remember that we've inversed 2x, so that's the answer we found. So pi over 4, I'll write the 2 pi k in different colours so you can kind of see. And we've got 7, I don't know why it's doing that, 7 pi over 4 plus 2 pi k. Now what happens is, do you notice that there's this 2 there? We don't want 2x. We want 1 lots of x. So all I have to do is now just divide everything by 2 to manipulate the data and get x by itself. So just notice that there's 2 terms on the numerator, so I need to divide both of them by 2. So pi over 4 divided by 2 is pi over 8. And then plus 2 pi k ends up being pi over k because that 2 cancels out. 7 pi over 8 it becomes. And then again 2 pi k becomes pi k. Now what that means is I've got my 2 answers already, pi over 8 and 7 pi over 8, but every pi lots of k will give also a solution. So we're going to see if they fit in the range or not. So I'm going to say k is 1. Let's do k is 1 for my next option. What happens is then my next option would be pi over 8 plus 1 lots of k. Oh, sorry, 1 lots of pi. And then 7 pi of 8 plus 1 lots of pi. So we're going to do that on the calculator and see what you get. So then I get the next periodicity would be 9 pi over 8. And then 15 pi over 8, I think. Now, all I need to just double check is, are these below 2 pi or not? If it's over 2 pi, I can't include these answers. If it's below 2 pi, I can include them because our range is 0 to 2 pi. So let's give it a go. 9 pi over pi, or if I translate 2 pi into a base of 8, it'll just become 16 pi. And I can see both of these answers will definitely be under that 2 pi answer. So if I write my final answer, my x actually has 4 answers, as I said. So my first one was the pi over 8. Okay, and then I've got my 7 pi over 8, and then I've got my 9 pi over 8, and then I've got my 15 pi over 8. So what that means is these 2 are the same, but the different periodicity. And then these 2 are the same, but different periodicity. So it's just a different multiple because we affected the periodicity. I'll just use a different colour so you can know. So these are all answers, and now we can use that. I'm going to try B, and let's see if you can kind of follow along as we go. So I'm going to write it down. I might have to go over here a little bit. No, I'm going to move these. They can get moved. I'm going to need a lot of space. Alright, surely that'll do. Okay, so my B question is sine x divided by 2 equals square root 3 over 2. So for this one, let's have a think. X over 2, so it's halved. My B is a half, so my scale factor is actually 2, so it doubled, and my period is going to be pi over 1 over 2, which is actually 2 pi. So 1 revolution is going to be 2 pi. So that means I might only have just one answer. So I'll show you how to do that one. So my x over 2 is inverse sine of square root 3 over 2. Let's see what that is. That becomes pi over 3. And again, I am going to be writing plus 2 pi k as a bit of a habit now. Excuse me. Alright, now I'm going to draw my unit circle and find my second option. Remember that there's always 2 options. Oh, no, I did this wrong. Oh, silly turtles crawl. So my sign is a positive answer, so these 2 are my answers. So that first answer was pi over 3. So this will be pi over 3. So if I want to figure it out, it will be pi take, so I'll write option 2. Pi take pi over 3, which is 2 pi over 3. Plus a 2 pi k option. So I found my 2 options. Okay. Now I've got to write my answer. So therefore, my solution, x over 2. Now just notice that it's x over 2, not x. So you need to remember that. Is pi over 3 plus 2 pi k. And then 2 pi over 3 plus 2 pi k. Alright, so what we're going to do now is get rid of the divide 2 by timesing 2 to everything. Okay, and then I should get my answer for x. So if I times it by 2, I get 2 pi over 3 plus 4 pi k. I'll just continue using different colours for the 4 pi k part, so you know it's a little bit different. If I times that by 2, I get 4 pi over 3 plus 2 pi k. There we go. Oops, 4 pi k it was. Now all we need to do is just check that these are both. Well, first of all, I'm not going to be needing these, because if I add 4 pi k to any of them, it's going to be way too big. My range was 0 to 2 pi. All I need to do is just double check that these are in the range. So 2 pi, I would think, is the same as 6 pi over 3. So these two are both my answers. So therefore, my answer is 2 pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3. So my assumption of having one answer was a little bit wrong. Let's have a think about where I went wrong. Well, I guess my period is 2 pi, so if I draw a sine curve, oh yeah, that's just a normal curve, and my answer was a positive. So let's just say somewhere over here, I'm always going to have 2 answers. Okay, so that was just like a normal answer. I'm not sure why I assumed that was going to be one answer. That was my bad. But there we go. There's all your answers, and you should be able to do 4, 5, and 6 now.